Intelligent Ramblings with your host, Bill Alton. Co-hosted by Gary Glenn and William Howington with help from John Colton.
Well, here we are, the first week of the new year, 2024. I'm Bill Lofton. I'm your host with my co-host, William Howington in the center, and our Gary Glenn on the right, huffing some coffee. And this is Thoughts on Our World, which we made it a little bit broad, so we could talk about whatever we wanted to, basically. Hope everybody's holidays went well. Everybody well and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. Had my
Really
COVID
cool.
shot yesterday.
You took what kind of shot?
COVID.
Only shots I've been taking are vodka.
I got all that stuff done. I got the COVID. I got the flu. I haven't got the RSV thing yet.
No, I hadn't either.
I'm probably gonna get that one next. I've been having the sniffles here and coughing. So go back.
Well, I've got my biannual bloodletting at the VA coming up next week. So I'm sure everything that needs to be put in me, they'll find it and do it.
You know, this is kind of what. Excuse me. Comments on our world. When I get a cough, I have to have the powerful stuff. If I drink that over-the-counter stuff, I might as well be drinking Kool-Aid. But so you have to go to the doctor, and because it's got a narcotic in it, usually codeine or something like that, to keep me from coughing. Because once I get started, it's just miserable. I can't sleep. It's awful. But you have to go. Nowadays, you have to go to the doctor. They have to physically write you a prescription out. They can't call it in. You understand? They have to write it out, and you have to take it and hand deliver it to whichever pharmacy you use, hoping they have it in stock, number one. And number two, make sure they know it's you before they'll give it to you. Now, all of us are old enough to remember when you had a bad cough like that, if you years ago, you could just go to the pharmacist and say, John, I got a bad cough. And he'd pull a clipboard out from behind the counter, and you'd sign out for it because it was a controlled substance. And the pharmacist could sell it to you. You didn't even have to go to the doctor. This is what we've come to now, which is one of the same reasons we have to take our belts and our shoes off in the airports.
Makes sense.
Well, that's because
I didn't take my belt off when I went.
Is that your rant for the evening?
Yeah, well, I've got something else to talk about later on for my little 2-minute deal. So,
okay.
2 minutes.
What were you saying, William?
I said I didn't take my belt off when I went through the airport going to Las Vegas last week.
Well, sometimes they won't make you.
That's ridiculous.
If you have a lot of metal in your belt, though, sometimes they will.
Well, I'm sure they wanted me to. I just didn't do it.
Well, you're a rebel. There's no doubt about that. You're a rebel.
I forgot.
Absolutely.
Well, on to the headlines. It seems that Israel killed a senior Hamas leader in Lebanon. They didn't kill him in Gaza. They killed him in Lebanon. You think this is going to widen this war? I mean, we got stuff going on in Yemen, throwing missiles at them. You got Iran doing all kinds of nefarious stuff. It just seems to be growing. And it's all fed by the fact that that Israel is trying to relieve the world of Hamas.
Good for them.
Well, you know, what was that scene from Superman 2 where?
Oh, wait a minute! I hate to interrupt you, Gary, but my daughter came on, Talisa Tritt. That makes me happy. I just wanted to say that. Thank you, Talisa. I am so happy you're here. And any more comments, feel free. But you're more than welcome to be here.
Hi. She says hi. Hi.
You've met Gary. You've met William.
Yeah. We're up there at your place that time.
That's right.
Well, anyway, when you talk about Hamas and Israel, I think there was a scene in Superman 2, the original one with Christopher Reeve as Superman, where General Zod turns to Lex Luthor and says, "Why do you tell me these things when you know that I will kill you?" It's the same thing you want to ask Hamas. Why do you do these things knowing they will kill you?
Yes, it's not like It's not like Israel's ever made a secret of the fact that if you come after us, we will come back after you, and we will go full in, and we're not going to stop until we kill you.
We don't negotiate. You know, they've done that before. And if some people happen to get in the way, well, you know, that's just the way it is. Now, I don't know the United States would do that, but Israel sure does.
Andrea is asking, are we sure it was Israel? Did they claim responsibility? No, they did not claim responsibility. So some of those people will bomb themselves to make him look bad. It's absolutely insane that you even have to ask that.
It's the same principle as suicide bombers.
Yeah, absolutely. They use a suicide bomber, so why wouldn't they bomb their own people to make it look bad? Maybe they wanted to get rid of that second-ranking guy. Maybe the first-ranking guy wanted to get rid of the second-ranking guy, or the third-ranking guy wanted to get rid of the second-ranking guy. You can't tell with crazy people.
No,
it doesn't make sense.
Crazy.
By definition,
it doesn't make sense.
No.
On a lighter note, there is a $842 million lottery ticket being held in Michigan. They won $842 million, and they still ain't picked it up.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know how long I let that sit there.
Well, what they're doing now is they're getting all their legal affairs in order. They're consulting with attorneys and see what the best thing to do. You know, if you can afford it to wait, just take it as a yearly payment. I mean, you know, how many millions of dollars can you spend? Seriously. I mean, why would you need to take a lump sum of whatever it be, which was going to wind up being what, William, about a third, not quite, maybe a half, about half to maybe 3/5 of what it would be if you just took an annuity. Excuse me. If you amortize it over that period of time, yeah, and then you just let your family have it until it runs out. I mean, I think I could get along pretty well on about $20 million a year.
Yeah, it'd be tough, but I can handle it, I believe.
Yeah, I think I can handle that.
I can spend some money.
I played the lottery, but I didn't win.
My wife thinks I'm really good at spending money.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you what. If Gary Glenn won the lottery, you and William and a whole bunch of other people would be really, really happy.
Oh, good.
I'm counting on it.
I'm counting on it. Hey, you got my word on that. You would be really happy, and so would
William. If I won 800 million, I would definitely spread it around.
So would my family. My nephew Darren says what we need to do. One of us won is just buy us an island, call it Glen Island.
Glen Island.
All live there.
That'd be, hey, I could live there.
We just all live there, and we just get us a private plane, and we'd fix us an airstrip. If we did anything, we'd just fly back to the mainland and get it.
Andrea says,
take the money.
Take the money.
She's right. You want to take the money and put it in some kind of an account, mutual fund, and just live off the interest or whatever.
I got a visitor here with me. Got a visitor.
Hello.
Right there's the camera.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
My beautiful wife just got home from work after working 13, 14 hours. Woo, she's a health professional, and they are inundated with COVID, flu, RSV. Is that what it is? Whatever it is. But it's...
Oh, man. Bless your heart.
As our friend John Cohn said, he was stuck in a daggone emergency room for 4 hours. That's how full 4 hours, 4 days. Excuse me, John.
4 days, yeah.
4 days.
That just left him.
That gives you an idea how full the hospitals are right now. So, if you got a way to take care of yourself, you should be taking care of yourself.
Agreed.
You know, just got to look out for that. Well, let me ask you a second.
I'm trying to do my best.
I asked William in particular, is it right to hold back funds for Ukraine to push through border reforms? Is it fair to hold back? Because that's what's holding back the money to keep Russia from taking Ukraine, is the fact that the Republicans are saying, we're not going to give you money for Ukraine unless you fix the border or send a bunch of money down there or build a wall or whatever the hell they want to do. But Ukraine's going to suffer, and time's running out. Is that fair, William? What do you think?
No, it's not fair. We need to support Ukraine and get Russia out of this whole mess. That's ridiculous. Them attacking Ukraine. It's like, I wish we could go around, but unfortunately, that guy's crazy enough to use too. And that would be kind of scary.
Well, if they take Ukraine, what's going to stop them?
Yeah.
What's going to stop them to do next?
Yeah, let's take that whole Crimea area or whatever.
Well,
they're not going to stop.
Yeah, and I think the difference in that, people say, well, it's the same line of reasoning that's got us in trouble in Vietnam. Well, I know that Red China was back in North Vietnam at the time, but they weren't actually actively participating, as far as I know. There may be some covert operations they actually didn't put boots on the ground. But the problem with Russia being one of the great world powers, they do have boots on the ground. And there's a real good chance that if Ukraine falls, then they'll be emboldened to try to take the rest of that area. So
yeah, that's what
think
worries
we need to
me.
support Ukraine. Yeah, it worries me too. I think
I don't know why we can't do both anyway. Support the border and Ukraine.
Well, what they're doing, William, is they're feeling some heat from the people back home that are saying, where's all this money coming from? How are we going to give billions to Ukraine and spend billions more on building a border wall? So, but it's all political gamesmanship. You know, they've been doing this for years. You know, you tack on something to a bill that has nothing to do at all with the bill. I mean, border wall versus supporting Ukraine, I don't know how that has anything to do with each other. But, you know, they'll do the same thing when they try to get something happening on a national scale. Somebody wants to build a rec center in Boise, Idaho or something, and they'll stick that in there somewhere to build.
Or a bridge to nowhere.
Yeah.
As our the lovely almost vice president built in Alaska, a bridge to basically nowhere. Nowhere. Nothing but ice out there. And it wasn't even finished. But it cost millions of dollars.
Well, they call it pork barrel projects.
Pork barrel.
Yeah. We learned about that in high school, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, we seem to be having a renewed migrant problem down in Texas. Well, Texas has decided that what I'm going to do is, and I can't really blame them, is pack them off in a plane and then bus them, fly them to a city, and then bus them downtown. They're doing it in New York, Chicago.
Yeah, they did in New York. Yep. Well, this is where the so-called sanctuary cities, where they say, well, we need to let these people in, and Texas say, well, we've got nowhere to put them. So if you want to let them in, here, have them. Do what you want to.
That's a good idea. We need to stop them though somehow. They need to get off their butt in Washington and figure out a way to stop this.
Well, either stop it or bring it in so that these people get paid into the system and sending money to the government of the United States. Everybody says, "Well, we're going broke. Social Security this, Social Security that," and you can't tell it in our part of the country, can you? They keep building subdivisions and houses and schools. Aren't those people paying into the system? If they're not, they should be.
Yeah.
Now maybe up north in the Rust Belt or something where, like Dick Yarborough says in these columns, it snowed 9 months out of the year, and they're leaving in droves. But you know what? They went to California for a while, but now they're getting out of California and coming back this way because California is ridiculous on just about everything, including taxes.
Well, they could do like the sheriff at Hall County did a couple years ago, put out a notice that if we catch you, you're going to get a one-way ticket back to Mexico. period. And guess what? 20,000 left? Hall County? I mean, some really obscene number of migrants said, I'm out of here. This guy's going to send me directly to Mexico. And they headed off to greener pastures, and it solved the migrant problem in Hall County like that.
Yeah, they need to do that.
We've talked about this on this show before. Why are they here? Why are migrants coming to this country? Because they're looking for
free
jobs.
Stuff.
Well, they're getting free stuff, but they're looking for jobs too. And if there weren't jobs here, they wouldn't be coming. There's just so much free stuff you can get, and that might keep you tide you over for a month or two, but it's not going to make you have to make a living or make a life.
Well, you're telling me the homeless population hadn't grown precipitously in the last year?
I think that's a little bit true, but you know, the hardcore homeless are homeless because they want to be.
That's
like
true.
Not having. They like not having ties. They like not having to make payments on things. They like not doing it. And of course, I mean, some of the really, really hardcore homeless are mentally ill. I did a report on that a long time ago when I was working in Atlanta at WSB Radio. And some of them, it's really, really sad. Now, some people are homeless because of circumstances. Maybe they've lost a job and they can't afford to make payment rent, so they live out of their car for a while. And there are agencies that try to help these people transition.
Well, you know, I came up with an idea been several years ago, and my idea was that they take a existing building, like a 10 or 12 story one in Atlanta, and they go to people like Delta and Coca-Cola for corporate sponsorships, and they corporately sponsor. Coca-Cola sponsors the first 3 floors, Delta does the second 3 floors, Holiday Inn does the top 3 floors or whatever, and they're responsible for the linens and stuff like that, and it's tax deductible. And then you'll have a 10-story building. You have a 10-story building that can hold 3,000 people. You don't make it comfortable. You make it barrack style, where they got a good, safe, clean, warm place. Even one company could do the kitchen. They'd sponsor the kitchen, you know. Someone like Amarak, a huge conglomerate right there, could sponsor the kitchen and pay for all the food, you know. And you'd have other sponsors pay for out of the food. And what you do is you come in there, you paint 1 floor. I mean, I ain't finished on my design yet. You take 1 floor that's for re-education. Have an office is set up in there to where people come in there and they fill out and get a Social Security card. They get a driver's license. They get what they need to get, because the problem is, if you don't have any of that, you can't even get help from the people that are helping. And have it corporately sponsored, and they could charge that off on their taxes. So they're saving money, we're saving people, and you put 3,000 people in there, and you give them a month and a half to go through all this and get the hell out. You got a month and a half, 2 months, whatever it is, or a month. And that's when you have to be gone by then. You have a time limit. So the ones that come in there and say, I ain't gonna do shit, I'm gonna just lay on this bunk the whole time. Well, after 2 months, you're gone. And you keep up with that stuff. And the corporates pay for it all. And then they can charge it off on their taxes. Simple. Came up with that idea. And you know what? I wrote it all down, drew it all out, and I handed it personally to Hosea Williams. I said, there's your answer, bud. That's your answer to homeless. That will make a difference. You put one of those in every city. Find local sponsors.
Make it 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Get them off the stress. I like that idea. You know, they used to do something like that kind of in Atlanta. I don't know if they still do it anymore, but it was called Atlanta's Table. And at the end of the night, they'd go to all the restaurants who are just going to throw that food out anyway, and they donate the food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Health concerns has gotten away from that, because you could give the food away and then get sued. And when people say, well, if I can get sued for it, give me my food back.
Yeah, well, you'd have to
Something
have
goes
some kind of an you have to have some kind of an agreement.
That's where our world has turned to where it wouldn't trust restaurants enough to take their food and not make them worry. You know,
Well, that'd have to be some sort of liability clause.
Yeah.
You know,
some kind of tort situation.
Concerns would have to be addressed. I mean, you'd have to make sure that it didn't lay around for days before you served it. It'd have to be like served within 24 hours or something like that, or even less if it were food that would spoil easily.
well, if they cooled it down properly and refrigerated it immediately, then it'd be good for at least another 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I know all the health codes, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying that.
And you know, and you're not alone. There are people who know these things. They could be put in charge. I like that idea. I think that's a great idea, Bill.
I got a better idea. Build a wall, put armed guards on it, and don't let them in, and you don't have to worry about building all these 10-story buildings.
Like I said, William, you're a rebel. You're a rebel. We like your opinion.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do to the people that are already here?
Ship them back. Do like Texas does. Fly them into Mexico City.
Some of them are born here. The homeless people are born here. You got to have some way to address that.
I'm not saying the homeless. I'm talking about these immigrants.
Oh, well, that's a different question sometimes.
Did you hear about the plane crash in Japan and in Tokyo? There was a plane sitting on the landing strip.
Tarmac, yeah.
This big plane came in with 237 or so passengers and clipped the top of it, killed everybody except the pilot in it, kind of bounced a little bit. They got everybody on that plane off in a minute and a half. And you know why? Nobody reached up to grab their to-go luggage. Nobody was holding it up. Everybody got the hell off that plane. And 5 minutes later, it was totally engulfed in flames.
Yeah, I'm kind of with that.
Pay attention.
I'm thinking it's going to blow up. I think I'm getting the hell out of Dodge.
I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. I really don't need that shaving kit that bad.
No.
You know?
No.
And
we can replace that.
I don't know if that would happen in the United States. Everybody be trying to grab that luggage.
Yeah, well, they said that did happen in Colorado. And that was the problem. That people were stopping to reach up and get their baggage. And it blocks the aisles, so people couldn't get out.
I just run over somebody.
That's what happened. Oh, I put my high school linebacker elbow up and start running. I'd take them out. You want that bag? Puh! Here, take a bruise with it as I go by. Knock them out of my way. Wouldn't even think about it. Well, if Gary's ready, I think it's time for Gary Speaks.
Okay. All righty. I guess it's time for me. Well, here we are on the 10th day of Christmas, January the 3rd. You know, we got 2 more days of Christmas to go, 12 days of Christmas. Then you have 12th night and the Epiphany. In case, though, you were confused about that, we actually have the Advent season, which leads up to Christmas Day, which is the first day of Christmas. Just by a matter of just letting you know exactly what season we're still in. We're still in Christmas time. So if you still got your Christmas tree up, well, go for it. But this is the time of year you'll notice that you get a lot of this kind of stuff because we're all grouped together and we just spread these germs around. And Jill and I just got back from Hilton Head Island. She accuses me of picking this up at one of those semi-heated pools that were supposed to be heated better than they are. Anyway, but speaking of which, I was doing that because I like to exercise. I like to stay in shape. And this is the time of year where just about everybody does that. I'm gonna lose 30 pounds. I'm finally gonna get in shape. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody does it. And for about maybe 3 weeks, 4 if you're really dedicated, Then by about Groundhog's Day, you got the same old hard asses that are always doing it, and they're the ones that are still in the gym. And here's why. People think they're going to do it immediately. They get in there, they do too much too soon, they get hurt or they get sore, and they say to hell with it. Let me tell you what, in the words of that great existential philosopher, Johnny Cash, folks, there ain't no easy run. I can destroy the American diet industry with a couple of short sentences. Eat less, exercise more. That's it. It's not some magic pill. I mean, if people talk about adjusting your metabolism, we're talking about some serious drugs. I'm not sure that I want to be a part of that. It stands to reason that if you burn off more than you take in, you're going to lose weight. And if you don't, you won't. And most of us pick up an extra 5 pounds or so this time of year because we're eating all the time. And if we're lucky, we get rid of that once the new year starts and we settle back down to a more normal routine. So here's my advice to you, okay? Listen to Gary. Start slow. Maybe get you a good pair of shoes and start walking. Maybe you don't walk very far the first day. Maybe you walk a quarter of a mile. Then you build up to a half mile, and then you build up to a mile. And then maybe you take it from there. You don't have to do a lot of running. You don't have to be a marathon runner. And if you really want to get ambitious, go to Walmart or somewhere and get you a pair of 5-pound hand weights. And as you walk, kind of pump it along like that. And I guarantee you, in just a few short weeks, you'll notice a difference. Now, it's not going to be something precipitous. You're not going to suddenly drop 40 pounds. But if you keep this up for the whole year, as you burn off more than you take in, not only will you lose some weight, you'll look better and you'll feel better. But don't try to do too much at once. Take it easy on yourself for a little while, but just keep after it. If you really find it to be valuable, you'll find time to do it. And really, you're only talking, 30, 40 minutes a day. They've even done studies that show if you do what's called high intensity training, if you do something for about 30 seconds, rest a little bit, do it for 30 seconds more, do it for 30 seconds more, then do it for 30 seconds more. Do that like every other day. You'll see some results. Isn't that crazy? People say, I haven't got time. Man, you hadn't got 10 minutes? You hadn't got 30 minutes you can spare out of your day to help you live longer and feel better? Sure you do. Sure you do. So give it a shot. That's my time out. Thanks for yours. I'm Gary Glenn.
This webcast is brought to you by William Lofton Photography. They can be found at williamlofton.com. Offering event residential portraiture at williamlofton.com. Well, it's National Championship week. Michigan versus Washington. I wonder who could have thought of that.
Who wanted that?
Well, no,
I did.
Nobody, but the seeding committee obviously thought of that because they had them seeded 1 and 2.
Yeah. Before we talk about that, let's talk about the bowl games that have transpired in the last couple weeks. I watched, 5 or 6 or 7 of them. There were so many of them that were just nobody versus nobody in the toilet bowl that it was like just kind of a waste of my time to watch it. The Kentucky-Clemson game was good. Did anybody see the Kentucky-Clemson game?
Yes.
Some of it.
Kentucky blew it.
38-35.
I enjoyed that game.
There's a lot of them that blew it, but the Southeastern Conference did pretty well in the bowls for the most part. Kentucky lost that one, but you saw some others that came along and did pretty well.
There were very few SEC schools that lost, to be honest with you.
Alabama.
Missouri whipped Penn State.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Tennessee
that was a good game.
Blowout win. LSU won. Of course, Alabama didn't win, and Texas is coming into the conference didn't win. But those were very, very close. Bill, I did some totaling up after that list that you sent me, and from what I would have picked and everything, I think I went 19 and 19. I was dead even, break even. But some of them were really, really close games either way. So I
hadn't even looked at mine, so I don't have a clue.
Come on, I mean, look, let's Alabama. Look, I'm not an offensive genius, but you're going against the top-ranked defense in the country, and I don't care if it was a run-pass option or not. You don't run up the middle when you need 3 yards.
Not with the quarterback.
No. That was insane. It was
absurd.
I don't think that's the play that was called. I think he just sort of did that on his own.
Well, yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me because why wasn't he sprinting out? The guy's got he's got 4.4 speed. Why wasn't he sprinting out and going for the angle?
Make it a run pass option.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's an RPO, you don't just suddenly. I mean, he didn't even show draw. He just got a direct shot, took it up the middle.
He did a quarterback sneak from.
Yeah.
But he wasn't close when he did it with a shotgun. Shotgun quarterback sneak. Now nobody would have called that.
No, you needed 3 yards from the line of scrimmage. You snap it in the shotgun. Now you got to have 5. Come on.
6.
Yeah. And then of course Washington. I mean that game literally went down to the last second.
Yeah.
Texas completes that pass, they win, and they came pretty close. Great defender, great play by the defender on that play.
Oh yeah, over the top. Pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know who that pass went to, don't you? A.D. Mitchell, Georgia guy. He's got a touchdown in every playoff game
Crystal.
he's been in.
Crystal Stevens is in and says she loves that idea. I missed a couple of the little chats, and I'm just catching up. Andrea a few minutes ago said, not a bad plan. You think the government could coordinate this? Thank you, Andrea. I think it was a great plan, and like I said, I handed it to who I expected, a very important person, Hosea Williams, and put it in his hand, and never heard anything of it. And Kenny, unbelievable that all those people survived. Well, on that plane that they hit, only the captain survived, and he's in critical condition.
But that was a Coast Guard plane. It wasn't a big passenger plane. It only had like 6 people on it. 5 died.
5 died, and the captain is the only one that survived. But back to college football. Sorry about that, guys. Andrea, Kenny, I appreciate you guys, and we depend on you every week. So we look forward to hearing from you. Crystal, welcome to the show. Talisha, I couldn't be more pleased that you guys are here, and we're looking for ideas. So if you want something you need to be talked about, you have an idea, let us know, because we're going to change the format of the show a little bit because college football is fixing to end. Got to fill it in with something. Got something exciting coming up, though. Promise you that. Go ahead, Gary. I'm sorry.
Bad. As far as the national championship is concerned, I'm back and forth on this one. I really am.
Michigan.
But I think it could be really good or really bad. But I think I'm going to have to go with Michigan. I don't really want to, but I think I will. And my reasoning is, and I know you can't compare scores, but they beat the team that beat Georgia. And I think Georgia, obviously, from what they did against Florida State, obviously, and also, granted, Florida State was decimated by the transfer portal and the kids that set out the game. But no, Georgia was missing some weapons too.
Yeah,
and it was still a 60-point.
Well, let's go back.
A 60-point game.
I mean, as far as predictions go, let's go back to Intelligent Ramming's college football predictions top 10 from the beginning of the year. Thought I'd bring this up. You'll understand why soon. Right now, here's the AP top 25. This is AP top 25 as of whenever I pulled it up today. Obviously, there's some changes going to happen. Florida State's listed 4. Alabama is listed 5. They'll drop.
They won't drop that far.
Penn State
No.
will probably drop out the top 10 because they lost. But my guess is at the end of this, all this over, if Michigan wins, I'm saying in this order: Michigan, Washington, Georgia, Texas, Oregon, Ohio State, Alabama, Missouri, Mississippi State, and top 10. I still haven't figured out for maybe even Penn State. But I wrote it down, so
Not Mississippi State. Ole Miss.
yeah, Mississippi.
Yeah.
That'll be my, number 9. I got Mississippi, and 10 Penn State. I wrote it down, so you guys are witness that I wrote it down, and that's what I'm doing. And
Well, we have all that. We have all that on record somewhere. Don's got it, or you got it, or somebody's got it. For the very first
you know I
year.
got it. Here's
Well,
teams in red still
there
in the
we
top 10. Here we are. And, what can I say?
Yeah, well,
Well, Ole Miss in the top 10. I'm all right with.
And I went with them.
yeah, I
Ole
think
Miss
I'm
Ole
I'm
Miss
pretty
is
good, I think.
number 11.
Yeah, they'll be in the top 10 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And they had
But,
a big win over Penn State, right?
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So they probably will go top 10. So that'll bring you up one, William, to 5. That's the only one you got a shot at coming. Well, Oklahoma is 12 right now. So maybe they could sneak in. That'd get you 6. Ain't none of mine dropping out. John
I don't
could
think
possibly pick up Oklahoma and Ole Miss, so he could go to 6. Gary, you could possibly pick up nobody. Well, Oklahoma. So you could possibly go to. Gary could possibly tie me. But right now, I'm sitting all
You're-
alone at
You're
7.
ahead.
I'm ahead.
And that was from August,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Before the
We're all
season
looking-
started.
We're all looking pretty good.
Well, the crowd's with me. The crowd's with me.
Yeah.
But you know how it is, though. It's when somebody does well, they're gonna all crew. And actually, I got killed in the predictions for the year, pretty much. But I'm gonna crow some because I did do this well.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
all right.
That's all right. Well, we'll all know, what the final order will be very, very shortly after the national championship game next Monday night. The AP will come out with their top 25 really quick, and of course the bowl people, the playoff people, will let you know where their final rankings
I
are.
think we ought to start a national something to force college football to alleviate us of about 20 bowls, at least. It's gotten
Well,
out of hand.
Yeah, I agree,
Not
but I
20.
think the corporate money is there, and of course now next year you're gonna have, what is it? Isn't it next year they're gonna have the 12-team playoff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna settle a
that'll
lot
be-
of things right there.
Well, you know what? I think one thing that would change a lot is if they open the portal January 3rd, after the season's over. Who's ever heard of having a portal open in the middle of the game?
Yeah.
Well,
that was just stupid.
Well, Kirby has said this. Kirby Smart said that this shows something has to be done. He didn't have any suggestions because probably he hadn't really thought about it that much. But
Thank
you
you.
go to a
Thank
team.
you, Kenny.
You go to a team that has 0 losses, and they get beat by the largest margin of any bowl game ever because of all those kids that defected.
And just be glad Georgia didn't have those 20-something players that they didn't have. It would have been worse.
Well, I am. I mean, and I applaud the kids from
Thank you.
Georgia that stayed and played. I mean, you saw that Vandergrift was gone, so he was the backup quarterback. So they put Gunnar Stockton in there. Then they even put the 3rd-string quarterback in there, didn't they?
Yeah.
The kid whose dad's a coach. You know, that's great. Let them play.
How about
Once they showed
Muschamp?
up, let them play.
Muschamp and
Yeah,
Drake.
Muschamp.
Well, we didn't have Bowers. We didn't
Anyway,
have
so
Mims.
yeah,
Well, Imogene agrees with me, and I absolutely believe that. That doesn't. I mean, do the people not have any kind of foresight that this was going to happen? Who the hell's on this that decides these things? What
That's the
idiot
NCAA.
decide? I mean, not something. I'm trying to something with a CAA, not correct. Asshole something. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. None. Who would have come up with that idea?
well, here's
sure
here's
they'll
what's going to
change it.
happen. Yeah, well, here's what's going to happen. They'll probably do something like you're talking about. But what is that going to do to the kids who say, "Oh, I'm hurt. I just can't play"?
Well, that's nothing you can do about that. That's just poor
No.
sportsmanship there.
Yeah.
Well, that's what to me. That's what all these people are showing. I'm still saying you ought to dock them something, prorate their scholarship, especially now they got all this NIL.
Yeah,
Especially since they got all this NIL money now.
It's ridiculous. I mean, that these kids are doing this to their own team. I mean, these FSU players are the loser of the year.
Yep. They went from being undefeated to being embarrassed.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I also want to say that Georgia would have played FSU in their prime. We'd have whipped them.
Yeah, it would have still been a butt kicking.
I think we would have beat them, and I think we would have beat them bad. Any way you look at it. I mean, we had 20. We were short 20. We were short 20, and our best player, Brock Bowers, wasn't even playing. Didn't even suit up. I mean, he probably would have if he would have been playing all of the FSU people, but you know.
Well, he's still nursing
That game would have meant
What about What about the tackle? He didn't play very much either, did he?
Mims didn't play. Our first string tackle didn't play. He was going to be a top 20 draft pick. Didn't play.
Oh yeah. Well, that's probably two first rounders right there that didn't play.
And
hurt.
don't forget we had like 2 running backs that were hurt. We had a receiver that was hurt. We had 15 already jumped in the portal before the game. So we were missing 20 people as well. But if we had our full complement and they had their full complement, I think we would have beat them by 28 easy. They're not in our league.
No.
They're pretenders. And
see, and all those people who bitched about that, now they don't have a leg to stand on, because the committee had the discretion of looking at the players that will play. They wanted a good matchup, so that's the reason Florida State didn't get into the top 4, because they didn't have their number 1
good
quarterback.
matchups. That was about as good as 2 matchups as you could get: Michigan and Alabama and Washington and Texas.
Right.
One in overtime and one come right down to the last play.
Yeah.
Well,
very last
I guarantee you,
second.
I guarantee you that right now that the playoff committee is going.
See?
Yeah.
We did it. We did the right
right
thing. We got that right.
Yeah.
Now everybody quit your whining. And and I felt bad for FSU, and I bitched about it, but
I would love to see Georgia take on Washington or Texas. I think that would have been pretty good.
I think if we'd have played Washington, it'd have been a slaughter. And Texas would have been a little bit tougher, but I believe we beat them by 2 scores without any problem.
Well, but ifs and buts for candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. We just had that. So anyway, I still think I'm going with Michigan. What about you guys?
Oh, I'm definitely going for Michigan
to win.
I picked Michigan number 2 out of the gate. So, I saw something that a lot of people didn't. So, I feel real good about that. Oh, by the way, we now have merchandise. You can show your smartness at intelligentramblingsmyspreadshop.com. It's really cool. It's got the logo with Intelligent Ramblings on it, and then it says, "I'm so smart, I have intelligent ramblings." I'm gonna be wearing one of those pretty soon.
Yeah.
But
That sounds like a good idea.
you can go to our spread shop and you can get hats, you can get T-shirts, you can get sweatshirts, you can get stickers. You want a shower curtain that says Intelligent Ramblings on it, you can get it. But it's at myspreadshop.com with Intelligent Ramblings in front of it. Quick commercial I threw in there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, all right then.
But, well, I think we've said our say. I want to thank my co-host. We've had a great year, and this is a great start to the new year. I want to thank all our people that have showed up and been with us. We got 7 people sitting there right now watching us, and I want to make sure you understand that you are of vital importance to this project of Intelligent Ramblings, and we're not going to stop. If we got one guy on here because everybody else is sick or working or whatever, there's always going to be somebody here Wednesday night at 8 p.m. to talk about whatever. And we're going to do some upgrades on the show. Next week, little things are going to change. And we would appreciate you being here. Oh, look at there. Fred Talbert. Happy New Year, our team from Fred Talbert. Our quarterback.
Right, yeah.
That was our quarterback.
Thank you, Freddie.
Yeah.
Freddie, you and me didn't
Happy
get
New Year to
along
you.
all the time, but I promise you were safe if I was anywhere near you.
Well, I'll just say,
Happy New Year, Fred.
I'll say this. I hope 2024 is great for all of us. I hope we have a whole lot more joy than sorrow, a whole lot more wins than losses, and a whole lot more love than hate. And if everybody can try to spread that word, I think we'll be okay.
Amen.
Oh, by the way, we're going to be looking for guests to come on, a special guest on our show. And I got a couple people in mind. Kenny, Andrea, Imogene, Talisha. Get ready for a phone call because I'll be hunting you pretty soon.
All right.
Hope everybody has a great week. And we'll see y'all back here next Wednesday at 8 p.m. for Intelligent Ramblings.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.